Come on.
You know what? You win. Go ahead. Go ahead. You win. Because nothing. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, son.
Let go. That was an asshole move.
Yeah, that was that.
No, that was.
Go ahead, man.
An asshole for that. That was mean.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, actually. And I'm actually going to go ahead and sit down because that was very disrespectful. And I'm a fan of your show. And I stand in the gap for men like you that got a big old mouth. And I still give respect to people like you. But for you to sit there and not give me my space when I'm all about encouraging the men, when women like most women sit in these comments and they backlash you every single, I read your comments. It's very disrespectful, but hey, who am I? God damn it. Who the fuck am I?
I always say that women, one of the first things that we need to take care of is our mouth. I think aggression comes from not being able to face those traumas and then putting them on a man who has nothing to do with those traumas. A lot of women don't face their traumas before the man. It's like they'll get the man and then it's like, oh, well, I got these traumas. I have these problems here and he going to stick with me through them. And he doesn't have to. He's not obligated to. Yet women think that they can use everything else other than healing to keep him. And it's like, once he sees that you're not healed or that you're not doing the work that you need to do, he's not going to stay around. And if he is going to stay around, it's only going to be for a specific reason. But even that is dangerous because if a woman doesn't deal with her spirit, even sticking around to have sex with her is going to mess you up.
That's a fact.
So even that is such a crucial part. And I think aggression comes out when you don't take the time to sit with your shit. I'm serious. Because when you don't take the time to sit with it, you're like a firecracker. When somebody says something to you, you get offended easily. You can't just sit and breathe for 5 seconds and take it in and be a woman and receive what's being told to you. You have to have that masculine and that's from not being seen. That's from not being heard. That's from not feeling validated. That's from insecurities and not really building yourself back up from whatever tore you down or whatever is bothering you or whatever trauma you went through. Your trauma is no one else's responsibility, not even your parents.
That part.
Your trauma is nobody's responsibility but your own. But until you face it and be okay and take accountability, because that's something that we always talk about with women as well. You know, you can't expect somebody else to have grace for you until you have grace for yourself, really, because that's when you're telling yourself, okay, I need help. There's something wrong. I shouldn't be treating them like this. I shouldn't be bleeding on them and they didn't cut me.
No doubt. Sit with it and then fix it, though. Make sure
Yes.
you fix it. Make sure you get it fixed. Don't just sit with it. Sit with it and fix it.
And don't think it's going to happen overnight. Like people think that, you know, well, I see so-and-so doing it or how you do it. And, you know, you can't compare yourself to me. You can't compare yourself to the next person. There's only one you and there's only going to be one you. So are you going to present the healed you that's still working on yourself, that knows where to go, that has a toolbox to work on things when they arise? Or are you going to be the person that's still blaming, you know, your daddy and the person that violated you and your mama that wasn't there? No, you have to grow beyond those things because it really helps you in character. It even helps your spouse. A lot of women, it's like you're not a wife because you're not ready to be a wife and you're not honest about that.
You know what's tripped out? Everybody, I'm saying a lot of people saying.
Was she finished?
I thought she had. I thought she had
finished. Go ahead.
Oh no. Go ahead, real quick. My bad. I thought she was done.
Just making some bombs.
Hold on, men are the enemy needs to go next.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, y'all. So I wrote a couple of notes here. So I'm just gonna go down my notes.
Oh shit.
It's not a lot. I'm gonna try to make it quick. But I talked about this today because obviously that's why I have the platform. Men are not the enemy. Specifically because of what we're talking about right now. And I do bridge the gap between men and women. I don't believe that every man is a dog just because my ex is a dog. I don't believe that just because your dad was bad to you, that you have to be bad to men. I don't believe that if your mom was bad to you as a little girl, that you have to be bad to men. It's all about individual accountability. The first thing I want to address is, I know, like I've said before on this show and like I do on my platform, I'm probably in that 1%, and I'm okay with that. I stand firmly and proudly in that 1% of being masculine to the masses, to other women, which I can always tell when a woman has had a positive, active role model of a dad in her life versus the ones that didn't. But from my perspective, Black women call me masculine, which I've actually been called that on one of the previous other shows, or I think like a man. No, it's not that. Well, just hear me out. That's not a factor. I'm just saying my points. So at the end of the day, it is that way because a lot of Black women don't take into consideration, what about that woman that was actually raised by her father, which is myself. So the reason why I have more of my quote unquote masculine ways is because I was raised by my father. So I have characteristic traits that a lot of Black women don't have. I also want to give shouts out to Embrace the Grace, because she spoke a lot on about what I've experienced. And Black women do continue to talk down on Black men. And if you don't agree with the mass of Black women, they look at you like you are just, what's that Zimmerman dude? The daggone Zimmerman dude, they look at you like, oh, because you're not on our little team, that, oh, you don't have a valid point. Well, that's the reason why you're not growing. That's the reason why when you turn to your neighbor, you are a reflection of her, because of all of y'all, all certain type of Black women, they all flock together. The other thing I want to say is, somebody said, wait a second. Somebody said men can raise 2 kids better than a woman can raise 2 kids. I 1,000,000% agree with that. I am that example of that environment, only because self-explanatory. Single women with sons, we cannot teach them how to be men. But if you take a father and let's say he has a girl, or let's say he has 2 daughters, most likely she's going to naturally be feminine. Most likely, that's what we born with. Nobody has to teach us really, some of us do, but in a nutshell, you're kind of birthed to be a woman. So I find it kind of easier for myself to be molded into a quote unquote feminine picture, which I don't want to I don't want to fit that mold, but I'm just saying. Now, Sweeney said Black women do what they want because Black women do what they want because I think he said just Black women do what they want.
It can't be a dissertation now. Like we got to move on now. Like, how long are your notes?
Are you serious? Y'all just sat up here and talked. I barely talked.
Yeah, yo, you a control.
That was unnecessary. Like, this lady ain't saying nothing the whole show.
Can she finish?
Let go. You gotta everything at one time. You got to be able to be a part of the conversation instead of waiting until an hour later. And everything.
But she still, come on, man. She still didn't say much. That was unnecessary. Let her finish.
Come on.
You know what? You win. Go ahead. You win. Because nothing. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, son.
Let go. That was an asshole move.
Yeah, that was that. Yeah,
no, that was. That was mean.
Let me tell you something. Actually, and I'm actually going to go ahead and step down because that was very disrespectful. And I'm a fan of your show, and I stand in the gap for men like you that got a big old mouth. And I still give respect to people like you. But for you to sit there and not give me my space when I'm all about encouraging the men, when women like most women sit in these comments and they backlash you I read your comments. It's very disrespectful, but hey, who am I? God damn it. Who the fuck am I? Let the women do whatever the hell they want to do. Excuse me.
Drop down, stay up.
No, I'm good. Y'all have a good night. I'm good.
Men are not the enemy. Men are not the enemy.
Let me apologize.
I don't want your apology. I don't want your apology because you originally did what you wanted to do. When you sit up there and babble every show, nobody checks you for that.
Listen for a second. Just listen for a second. First, I do apologize.
Why am I gonna listen to you when you wasn't even listening to me?
Okay, just take a second. What
Now
I
you're
was
telling me
saying
I'm too
is,
aggressive. You see what I'm saying?
what I
Wow.
was saying is, we have to be a part of these conversations. What happens
I'm giving you guys my perspective so that we all can talk about what I just said. I just sat here and listened to every person on this panel and didn't say anything.
But you
Okay,
got
everybody be
to
okay.
chime in.
Like, what do you mean?
Let her finish.
That's all I'm saying.
Let her finish.
I'm
Everybody.
done. I'm done.
I
I'm done. I'm seriously done. I'm done.
I
Go
do
ahead, y'all.
apologize. All right.
You still owe her an apology, bro. That don't mean just because she don't want to accept it, don't mean you can't give it.
I just gave it.
Wait, I wanted to say, don't listen to him. Like, nobody on here was even on that. I was really trying to hear what you had to say, and I'm pretty sure everybody else. That's just one person, you know?
It's not about me listening. It's about we are all held accountable for what we individually say. And I add a very, very positive perspective to platforms like this, because I don't think like the average women that you guys sit around and talk about. I don't think like the average Black woman that majority Black men talk about. I don't fit that description. So why would you not let somebody like me talk? That's very disrespectful.
Look at what I did. I did not mean to be disrespectful. If I, just as an example, say I haven't been talking for like a good 45 minutes, right? Or whatever. And then I say I got a list.
Never happened.
And then I start going down the list. Somebody's gonna be like, all right, bro, like save it for, you know what I'm saying? So I did not mean to be disrespectful, because I like you. You good people. All I'm saying is we gotta use it from a conversational standpoint instead of let me read off this list. That's all I'm saying, because sometimes people want to chime in. And think about this. You made about 4 points. What if somebody wanted to chime in on your third point?
Sir, okay, Mr. Letgo, we could have done that. We could have done that at the end of my conversation. That's why I already told y'all I have a list. Anyway, the last thing I'm gonna say, and I'm good. I'm good. The last thing I'm gonna say is the term happy wife, happy life is very, very toxic. Happy wife, happy life. No, I talk about happy husband, happy home. Because if the man is not happy in the home, the whole household can go to garbage. It's just put it in the dumpster. And that's my perspective, and that's where I come from. So the rest of the show, I can sit here and I can just sit back because I know who I am and I know what value I bring. So it is what it is.